Charged with malpractice by the state, sued by a grieving family for wrongful death, but back to practicing medicine. That's unnerving to people and multiple patients and professionals who have come across a local doctor. 13 Investigates has spent 6 months compiling complaints and allegations. And as Chief Investigator Darcy Spears shows you, some claim his treatments have altered people's lives or even ended them.
I get angry, and I feel like, what's the point? But then I have to tell myself I still have a lot to be thankful for.
Looking on the bright side can be hard for Judy Hogue. She's battling never-ending complications after being treated for an infection from a dog bite. That treatment came from Dr. Deval Shaw, an infectious disease specialist who owns and operates SIDS with 2 clinics in the Las Vegas Valley.
It's altered everything in my life. I don't feel freedom, and it's really hard to have to depend on other people.
Judy's medical records show permanent damage to the vestibular part of her brain, which controls hearing and balance. She uses a walker, can't drive, suffers from extreme dizzy spells, and has permanent hearing loss. That after 7 weeks of daily intravenous antibiotics at SIDS on Smoke Ranch in Tenaya.
This is certainly negligent medical care.
Attorney Andrew Thomas is working with Judy on a lawsuit alleging permanent disability due to antibiotic toxicity.
The patient's supposed to be able to trust her doctor, and what happened to Judy was a betrayal of that trust.
The allegations against Dr. Shaw are piling up. This complaint was filed with the state by a healthcare professional on behalf of Judy and 21 other patients. It alleges chronic underdosing at SIDS, a business model meant to prolong treatment and increase profit at the expense of patient care. Dr. Christy Kaminsky worked in wound care at SIDS until she recently quit.
In my eyes, was just not ethical.
In Judy's case,
she should have been given the medicine twice a day. She was given it once. Then the medicine she was switched on to, she was also underdosed.
The longer the treatment, the bigger the bills. Dr. Kaminsky says Judy's blood tests repeatedly showed levels of antibiotic indicating the drugs weren't helping the infection. She says that should have raised red flags, but when she tried to question it, Dr. Shaw brushed off her concerns.
Someone like this should not be practicing medicine, in my opinion.
The State Board of Medical Examiners has formally charged Dr. Shaw with malpractice involving 2 different patients, both of whom died. The most recent complaint filed in March stems from the death of a 73-year-old patient. It says Shaw failed to ensure appropriate antibiotics were ordered for and given to the patient, failed to supervise his physician assistant, and failed to keep accurate records. This other active malpractice complaint was filed last July. It involves a young mother, just 25 when she died after Shaw's PA and business colleague allegedly failed to recognize imaging studies and lab results indicating tuberculosis. Dr. Shaw declined an on-camera interview on his attorney's advice, but his lawyers sent a statement which says in part, the well-being of Dr. Shaw's patients has always been his paramount concern. Dr. Shaw recently reached a settlement with the Board of Medicine's Investigative Committee, which is pending final approval by the full board. He intends to work hard to earn and keep the trust of the board and the public. He stepped away from his practice and is currently devoting time and resources on a volunteer basis to assist with the response to the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. He values the opportunity to treat the citizens of Nevada. But does he value profit even more? Yes, say many people who spoke to 13 Investigates.
And it may be an issue of the doctor putting financial interest ahead of the patient safety.
These are bills for office visits with doctors Judy Hogue says she never saw, and some for infusions she says she never got. On January 16th, SIDS billed Medicare $200 for a long visit with a doctor Judy never saw for anything. She also had no office visits with Dr. Shaw, but he too billed Medicare for visits, infusions, and injections.
I've also experienced some billing billed out in my name, also in other doctors' names that did not do the services provided. which was unacceptable to me because that's done in my name.
Dr. Kaminsky finally left SIDS after her repeated concerns fell on deaf ears. Another complaint filed with the Attorney General by a former SIDS employee echoes that, calling Shaw shady and deceitful. It also questions billing practices, claiming multiple Medicare and Medicaid patients only saw physician assistants but were billed for visits with Dr. Shaw at a time when he was out of the country.
Feel it was just for getting money in as fast as possible.
Dr. Kaminsky is still helping Judy and hoping accountability comes before more people get hurt. Dr. Shaw's troubles extend beyond the courtroom and beyond the state medical board. In 2018, the U.S. Department of Labor cited him for violations after he failed to pay his staff overtime. And Labs, a marijuana testing facility he was president of, self-closed several months ago after state regulators found unacceptable levels of yeast and mold had gone undetected. The state's investigation into intentional manipulation of test results is still ongoing. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.